Loftus Sports Center in South Bend. The wait is finally over for one of the nation's top teams. Number 3 Notre Dame, dreaming of a championship run, kicks off a new campaign as they welcome in the Marquette Golden Eagles. Hi, everybody. So glad you're with us alongside Brian Benedict. Patrick Hartnett here with you. And Brian, a season ago, Notre Dame's season not ended the way they wanted to. They've had this one circled for a while.
They have, yeah. They were at a slower start last year for Notre Dame, but really caught their stride midway through into the end. And we thought they were going to make the tournament, and it looked like it didn't happen for them, so they're excited tonight.
Well, a year ago, Notre Dame was preseason top 10. Before struggling out of the gate, they went 2-4 in their first 6 games before rattling off 6 straight matches, but came up just a little bit short and earned a share of that ACC title, ACC regular season title, but ultimately didn't make the tournament.
Yeah, and we know how the ACC play really is, arguably the toughest in lacrosse. But for Notre Dame this year, they're returning 8 of their top 10 goal scorers. They have a solid defense, and you know they're going to come out strong tonight.
And on the other side, Marquette has already kicked off their 2023 season, but a year ago they went 4-11, but really dominated in Big East play, making the tournament for the first time since 2018.
And last year, the Golden Eagles dealt with some injuries as well. And with that, their games were still pretty competitive, and it shows that with returning the guys that they have for this year, they're off to a fast start on offense, and they can be effective.
A lot of veterans returning for this Marquette team, but it's one of the young guns, sophomore Bobby O'Grady, the reigning Big East freshman of the year who had 45 goals a season ago.
O'Grady's just an elite scorer all around, from inside, outside, and on the run. But arguably the most impressive part of his game is his accuracy and placement when it comes to shooting. He's really going to test Entenmann here tonight.
And on the other side for Notre Dame, Pat Kavanagh. It's become one of the most well-known names in college lacrosse, and he's back for his senior season after a record-setting season a year ago.
Yeah, Pat Kavanagh, when you look at his stats and you see him on the field, you know you're going to get 100% of him at all times. He's not just a goal scorer. He doesn't just feed the ball with his incredible vision, but he's a monster on those ground balls. Second for Notre Dame last year for the team.
And Notre Dame under head coach Kevin Corrigan, now in his 35th season. He had a lot to say about the tournament last year, but ultimately said, hey, we got to move on. We got to come back for this year. And he has the guys to really go far deep.
He does. And when you think of college lacrosse, Coach Corrigan is really up there as one of the best coaches of all time. And you know he's getting his guys ready for tonight, but also reminding them, hey, this is how last year, this is what happened at the end. Let's use that. Let's have a chip on our shoulder, and let's start off strong.
Should be a good one. 11th meeting all time between these two schools. Notre Dame has been owning the series. They're 10-0 so far, and Marquette looking to change the fortune in this series under fourth-year head coach Kevin Stimiel, who's got his program off to a 1-1 start this year. Had a season-opening victory over Lindenwood before dropping a match the other day against Utah.
And so far, Coach Stimmel's been doing a real good job here with the Golden Eagles. And with his experience at Yale previously on their runs to a title and then a runner-up, you know he's bringing that experience as well as tactics for the Golden Eagles here.
There's the first face-off. As we get a whistle and off the reset, it's Notre Dame who gets the first touch. There's number 8. Eric Dobson, one of the leaders of this midfield unit.
Last year, Dobson was an outside shooter for the Irish. Teams were aware of that. But when we were speaking with Coach Corrigan, he mentioned how his play is evolving, and it's growing.
Here's Dobson. The lefty slings it, and he has the first goal within the first 30 seconds.
Right on cue, we have Dobson who receives the pass. He knows the defender is on his hip, and so he just decides to run down that alley, get his hands away from the pole, and puts the first goal into the game.
Fast flying start for Notre Dame. First possession, Eric Dobson, preseason All-ACC selection, able to convert. And he's got his team off to the start they were looking for. And off the second face-off, it's Notre Dame who controls it. This is a Notre Dame team that returns a lot of production offensively. Their top 4 scorers all back for this season. Dobson, one of those top scorers. He had 22 goals a year ago. Following the reset, we get the first look at this Marquette offense. Here's Jake Bear, freshman, making his second start in midfield this year. First shot no good, but the second chance just high off the crossbar came from the stick of Nate Surd. Just like Notre Dame, this Marquette offense bringing back a lot of returning scorers, their top 6 goal scorers, all back in the jersey. There's Jake Stegman.
And given both teams are returning that amount of scores from last year, it'll see the offense start clicking and maybe after a fast start.
But an errant pass leads to a turnover. Jose Boyer and the Irish able to collect it and go the other way. Here's a touch for number 51 in white, Pat Kavanagh. Gives it off to Quinn McCahon. Here's a touch for Brian Tevlin. Grad student, midfielder transferred in from Yale this season. Looking to have a big impact on what Notre Dame is capable of this year. Here's Kavanagh. Gives it off. One-timer is good. Brian Tevlin has his first goal in an Irish jersey.
Already on these first 2 goals, Notre Dame's doing a great job of spreading out their offense and making sure that there's space for allow their teammates not only find each other, but you see 12 in white there getting his first goal up top. It makes it a 2-0 game.
Brian Tevlin, we mentioned he's a transfer. Named one of the nation's top 6 impact transfers per Inside Lacrosse over the offseason. Comes from Yale, where he was a 2 times captain. Also was an honorable mention All-American a season ago where he poured in 13 goals, added 13 assists for the Bulldogs. And already making his presence felt here in South Bend. So Notre Dame, we're just 3 minutes into this contest. They already have 2 goals. A big reason why has been the possession control, able to win a few face-offs. That was an area they struggled at the beginning of last year, but have cleaned it up, and it has them back for more. Jack Simmons puts it home, and Notre Dame up 3-0.
Last year against the Golden Eagles, the Fighting Irish off to a slower start. But today, there's 3 different goal scorers already. And Simmons just stops real quick on a dime, gets in between his defender and that near pipe, and does the rest.
Jack Simmons, another one of these transfers. He comes in from Virginia, having played 4 seasons down in Charlottesville, and he's off to a hot start in white. As Notre Dame secures yet another face-off, that's Will Lynch. He wears number 22 in white, now in his sophomore season, coming off a freshman year where he came in about halfway through the season as the main face-off guy, got a lot of good reps against some top ACC competition. And when we talked to head coach Corrigan before this game, he said, Will Lynch is our number 1 guy. He's ready to go.
Well, as a true freshman last year, that's a tall order to ask for him to really compete at that such an elite level. But with the experience with teammates like Colin Hagstrom behind him, who was also helping to compete during practices, it makes him the player who he is today, too.
That last possession was stopped in net from Michael Alieri, but the Irish able to recover. Alieri, junior goalie out of Wellesley, Massachusetts, led the Big East with 12.6 saves per game a season ago. Here's a touch for Chris Kavanagh, younger brother of Pat, now in his sophomore year, but it's out of the midfield. Bryce Walker comes flying and continues Notre Dame's hot start.
And what you'll notice for Walker here, not only does he catch the ball on the run, he keeps running knowing there's a defender on him. He tucks his stick for a moment, and then he finishes it. Now that fourth goal scorer for Notre Dame, really spreading the love.
Well, if you wondered how the Irish were going to come out in their season opener, here's the answer. First 5 minutes, 4 goals already for the third-ranked team in the country. After they had to sit on the sidelines a little bit, most teams started their seasons in the last 2 weeks. The Irish really anticipating tonight's opener, and they're coming out guns a-blazing.
They are, and it's not only the production on the offensive end, but Patrick, you talked about Lynch at the faceoff X, so going back to him for a moment, when he's winning these offensive possessions for him every time, it's just a make-it-take-it game.
Here's a touch for Jack Simmons, already has 1 goal. Leaves it for Jalen Seymour. Back to Simmons. Some good passing for the Irish. Leads to a shot, and it's Chris Kavanagh this time. He's got his first goal on the new season.
And with that feed coming from behind the net, Chris Kavanagh just goes to the ball, runs to the pass from his brother, does a nice job protecting his stick, and then puts it low.
Chris Kavanagh coming off a season where he ranked second on the team with 33 points, 22 goals, 11 assists. In what was his freshman year, now in his sophomore season, ready to take on an expanded role, having a year under his belt. So it's been 5 minutes, 5 goals for the Irish as they win yet another face-off.
Sooner or later, if Notre Dame keeps this coming, I'm sure Coach Simmel will want to have a timeout, regroup the guys, or cause a turnover like this in the transition game.
And who else? Number 77, Mason Woodward, the All-American defenseman, and it leads to a goal in transition. Bobby O'Grady records his first score of the night.
And from the defensive end, we've seen Woodward already this year have 2 goals, which means in transition, you got to pick him up. But he knows to distribute the ball. O'Grady finds the opening, dives across, and gets Marquette on the board.
Just beautifully done from the Golden Eagles in transition. And Bobby O'Grady finishes us off. That's O'Grady's 12th goal on this young season. Poured in 6 in the season opener, and then coming off a 5-goal performance against Utah, and now picking up where he left off. This is a Marquette defense that features one of the best defensemen in the country. You just got to look at him, number 77, Mason Woodward. He's a 2-time All-American, named to the Tewaaraton watch list just a few days ago. Really makes his presence felt no matter who he's playing.
I'm sure he was added to that list after the second goal he had with Utah. That was from downtown, and the amount of ground balls he also had against the Utes. He's a workhorse.
That shot goes high off the stick of Chris Kavanagh. Irish doing a good job of using the clock, getting everybody involved. Here's a look now off the bounce. Reilly Gray, but it was stopped.
And that's a stop for Alieri that he needed to get his confidence up, knowing that he's let in a few so far to start, making a tough save there, and then now a penalty. So the Golden Eagles will be man up.
That's Jose Boyer of the Irish. We'll head on off. That's Pat Kavanagh on the sideline. So Marquette, an opportunity man up here to start to cut into this Notre Dame deficit. Marquette working up against one of the best goalies in the nation, number 44, Liam Entenmann. Another one of those players named to the Tewaaraton watch list. Now in his senior season for the Irish, really poised for success. As a shot comes from the outside. That was Nate Surd, but just a little bit off the mark. There's Luke Blanc working up against Van Ramsey. Tries to get the inside edge against Ramsey and still kick back out to Matthew Weingartner. Now Surd being tracked by Brian Tevlin. Marquette still with about 25 seconds here. Jake Stegman has it, charges. He shoots and it's stopped. In net by Entenmann.
The Fighting Irish defense not only make a stop on man down, and then there was a settled 6-on-6 possession. Marquette did a nice job working it around, but we referenced the skill of Entenmann. He's able to make the stop.
Entenmann, a preseason first-team All-American. Also part of that preseason All-ACC team. And now Notre Dame's back on the offensive end of things. Here's Eric Dobson, already has one goal. Was looking for a cutting teammate in Griffin Westlin, but unable to connect with him. Now Notre Dame will take over off the reset.
And that's actually one part of Notre Dame's game to keep an eye on. With having both Chris Kavanagh and Pat Kavanagh at attack, they ride the game when the opponent is trying to clear a fair amount. They're aggressive, and between that and then the middies up top, they're likely to cause turnovers or make it more difficult for them to clear the ball.
Jack Simmons gives it back out to Reilly Gray. Now over to Kavanagh. Kavanagh from the left is stopped by Alieri. Notre Dame came out with 5 goals in the first 5 minutes, and since then, Marquette really stepping up to the challenge as they're back on the offensive end, looking for a score this time. Here's a touch for Jake Stegman. One of those top scorers they brought back from a season ago. Inside, sliding. A beautiful goal is scored from Bobby O'Grady. And with that, we'll take a quick break. So far from South Bend, Notre Dame's up 5-2. That was a game in which Notre Dame ended up winning 18-8 in mid-April. Played that game at Valley Fields up in Marquette. Notre Dame looking to replicate that same success they had against Marquette last year. And so far, the Eagles giving them a fit defensively these last 6 minutes, keeping them scoreless. Notre Dame looks to change that fortune as the shot comes from Bryce Walker, but it was wide to the right. Behind the cage, Griffin Westlin has it. Now Walker at the top. Here's Quinn McCahon. He dishes to Dobson. Dobson lost it for a second. Battle for possession. Still rolling around on the turf. And finally it's scooped up from Fulton Bayman. That ball was rolling around there for a while.
And luckily for the Fighting Irish, those are those opportunities where Marquette's dangerous, not only to get that ground ball, but that transition game. We already saw them score 1 goal today on that.
Here's Bayman from behind the cage, was met quickly by Peter Detweiler. Now Walker has it. He shoots top shelf, and he puts it in. Notre Dame gets back on track, and the score is 6-2 Irish.
And Patrick, you talked about how the Golden Eagles have answered on the defensive front to slow Notre Dame down. But here, Walker gets the best of them. Dodges one-on-one. The slide comes a little late. And at that point, doesn't matter. He buries it.
That was Walker's second goal of the night. Walker, now in his junior season, expected to take a big step forward, according to head coach Corrigan, coming off a year where he played 11 games, added 6 goals. But now really expected to be a key contributor of both the attacking unit and also play some midfield. As we get a stoppage in play, looks to be a timeout from the Irish. Brian, it's been a good game so far. Notre Dame got off to that hot start, and then Marquette started to find themselves defensively a little bit, but Bryce Walker with a quick answer.
Combine that with Marquette also having a penalty now, so giving Notre Dame an opportunity to be man up, another chance for them to score. And last year, I believe they led the nation in man up when it comes to scoring. And so as best you can on the defensive end, you want to keep them off the field.
Yeah, this was a Notre Dame team that was good as anyone across the country when it came to man-up offense. And one of the reasons why was Eric Dobson. He led the Irish with 6 goals in man-up possessions. But so far, it's been scoring spread out across all the board. You look at players like Bryce Walker stepping up, but also some key contributors that you expected to be a big-time contributor this season, like Eric Dobson and Pat Kavanagh making their mark.
And we've seen it already, just the depth of this Notre Dame team, the returning starters. This is what happens when you have guys who are talented who play together. And like we talked about too, the way last year ended, you know they want to come out and they're eager to play.
And this is a Notre Dame team in the offseason added 4 transfers. 2 of them from Yale and Chris Fake and Brian Tevlin, then also bring in Chris Conlon from Holy Cross and Jack Simmons from Virginia. And you'd already seen the impact those players have had. Fake and Conlon on the defensive end. And then Simmons and Tevlin in the midfield. So here's Notre Dame player up. Off the timeout. Bayman has it underneath. Kavanagh to Kavanagh, inside number 0. Jeffery Ricciardelli with the shot. It was wide. Ricciardelli, another one of those young sophomores on the attack, who's expected to take on a big role this year, but it's the junior on the bounce, Eric Dobson with the netter.
Picking up just like last year. From the outside, Dobson has the skip pass over the defense. The pass comes above the sticks in the lane from Marquette and then throws it 5-hole to get his second today.
Eric Dobson, that'll actually be his third goal. He's got an early hat trick in this one in the first quarter. Taking right where he left off a season ago. Ended the season real hot. Had 3 straight hat tricks against UNC, Syracuse, and Duke to close out 2022. And he says, let me bring that into the new year. And he's got his team off to a 7-2 lead. As we're just about 2 minutes away from the conclusion of this first quarter. Marquette looking to make some noise before this first quarter sounds.
And when you look at the clock, you want to slow the ball down and really control the last 2 minutes if you can when you're Marquette. Notre Dame just was man up. They scored before that. You want to give your defense a break and even put one in the net too.
Here's O'Grady. You can bet he's going to get more attention after scoring the first 2 goals if he didn't already have all the players tracking him and really keeping an eye on him regardless. Shot comes from Matthew Weingardner. And the race for the ball. And it's all Irish. Good crowd here inside Loftus Sports Center. This is the 11th meeting between these two teams, but this is actually the first time they've met inside this building. Notre Dame plays both indoors and outdoors early in the season when it's a little chilly out here in South Bend, electing to play this game inside Loftus Sports Center. Here's Quinn McCahon, gives it off. Now Dobson has it, being marked closely. Kavanagh with a touch, looking to shake off his defender. He's double teamed. Loose ball is picked up by Chris Kavanagh. Kavanagh muscling his way through, and it looks like it will count. Found the back of the net. We waited for the official, and it's a goal for Chris Kavanagh, second of the night.
Anytime Chris Kavanagh has a short stick on him behind the net, that's the green light to go. And this is the reason why the inside turn gets his defender behind him and scores one more before the first quarter ends.
Fantastic move inside from Kavanagh. As you see, second goal of the night for Kavanagh. I mentioned in his sophomore season, and there's been a lot of talk about him in the offseason, coming off a freshman year that was really successful, but it would be, how would he respond, how would he grow coming into his sophomore season? And from all the reports we've heard, it's been in the weight room, really, getting his body in college shape, and it's paying off so far. Looking to have a sophomore season similar to the one we saw Pat Kavanagh have a few years ago. Pat, after a decent freshman season that was cut short during COVID, really broke on the scene as a sophomore, ended up as a Tewaaraton finalist. And Chris looking to replicate that same success in his sophomore year. 8 seconds left, shot comes, and it's in. Notre Dame squeaks a quick one before the first quarter sounds, and it's 9-2 Irish.
A moment ago was Chris Kavanagh behind the net. This time you got Pat Kavanagh instead, where he's had a couple assists already today. Then Ricciardelli cutting to the net. Quick stick, knowing there's a defender on his back, and finishes it.
Goal is good for Jeffery Ricciardelli, sophomore out of New Canaan, Connecticut. Actually the first player in Notre Dame lacrosse history to rep number 0. So there it is, Ricciardelli making use of that number. Last shot is fired towards Entenmann all the way from the midfield line. And with that, that'll close out the first quarter. It was a first quarter that was all Notre Dame. Number 3 up on Marquette 9-2. As we'll take a quick break. Stick with us from the Loftus Sports Center. As we welcome you back, there's a look at the man in net tonight for the Irish, Liam Entenmann, coming off a season where he ranked first in the ACC in save percentage. And here's what head coach Corrigan had to say about it before the season. We know we have the stopper back, and that's kind of the mentality surrounding this whole Notre team when they look at Entenmann.
And what's special about him is now that he's a junior, he's had a couple of years with seasoned defensemen in front of him. This year in particular, Notre Dame has 2 to maybe even 3 new starters with a couple of transfers in Fake and Conlon. So already stepping up on saves, but being the leader and a seasoned leader at it.
Entenmann with 4 saves on the night. Allowed those 2 goals, but otherwise pretty strong in net in this season opening matchup. Not to mention, Entenmann's had Marquette's number throughout his career, has made 2 starts against the Golden Eagles, only allowing 10 goals and making 33 saves. Marquette looking to change that fortune now as they win the opening faceoff of this second quarter. Here's Matthew Weingartner, off to a hot start this season. He has 4 goals, but so far quiet tonight. Here's Jake Bear. Back over to Weingartner. Now a touch for Nate Surd. Marquette doing a good job working the ball. Here comes the shot, and it's stopped in net from Entenmann. A beautiful save.
And before that save, that was a possession that you want to see more of if you're Marquette. You win the face-off, you slow it down, you work the ball around, and you get a shot off. However, Entenmann, right on cue as we talk about it, makes that save, and now the ball's going the other way.
Here's Eric Dobson. Shot comes, and it's scored. Beautiful pass over from Pat Kavanagh. Looks like Jeffery Ricciardelli was the one who finished it off.
And we see that connection again. This time Pat isn't necessarily at X. He's still behind the net. And that crease has been open, and Notre Dame has been finding these guys there. And Ricciardelli finishes yet again.
Second goal of the night for Ricciardelli. And how about Pat Kavanagh up to 4 assists already. Really doing a great job at setting up his teammates. Great battle at the X for possession. Luke Williams against Cole Emanuel as a flag comes from the referee.
Number 0, Ricciardelli from Kavanagh.
Got goal 2-0. Illegal procedure. Third face-off violation. 30-second technical.
So illegal procedure against Cole Emanuel. And he'll have to head off for 30 seconds. So Notre Dame will be man up here. Notre Dame back in their man-up offense. Chris Kavanagh has it. Leaves it off for Fulton Bayman. Up top, Pat Kavanagh dishes inside, and it's finished with ease. Griffin Westlin.
When you're man up and that skip pass is available, you want to utilize it. Notre Dame did that the first time, and then this second time on the doorstep, Westlin knows that he throws a fake, take one more step, increases that angle, and scores the 11th goal today.
There's Griffin Westlin, now in his grad season with the Irish. Expected to be in that mix for the third attacking spot besides the two Kavanagh brothers. And that'll help his resume. Coming off a season where he made 5 starts, a part of that attacking unit. Added in 3 goals, 3 assists. Not to mention Griffin Westlin, graduate of Seton Hall Prep in New Jersey. He's got one of his high school teammates back with him. Brian Tevlin, transfer over from Yale, now part of the Irish. 2 of them played high school lacrosse together at Seton Hall Prep. Glad to see them back wearing the same uniform this time. So Notre Dame will win that last face-off as they nearly turn it over here. It's recovered from Jack Simmons. Simmons loses it a second time. Battle for possession. Ball's rolling all around the turf. Finally, Chris Kavanagh is the one to scoop it up. Pat behind the net. Quick pass as it was ripped. That shot from Jalen Seymour from up top. 15 seconds here for Notre Dame. Tevlin over to Seymour. Seymour fired a bullet, but it was wide, and here's Marquette to take over.
The effort by Alieri, too, knowing that the shot goes wide, knowing that they've just had that ball on the defensive end for a while, and dives so they can maintain that possession and hopefully get it across the field.
Alieri with a touch way out of position as Marquette looks to work it through the midfield. Here's Hayden Miller, sophomore out of Annapolis, Maryland. Coming off a 1-goal performance against Utah, and he's got one tonight.
An answer that the Golden Eagles really needed. Notre Dame was going on a run, but Miller brings his defender behind the net there. And once he has a step or two, increases that angle above goal line extended, he finishes it.
There you see Hayden Miller, second goal of the season for the sophomore. And he's one of those players a season ago as a freshman, got a lot of play time kind of unexpectedly with Marquette dealing with a lot of injuries. And although it kind of hurt them early on in the season, finished with a 4-11 record overall. A lot of the veteran players say it's going to help them in the long run going into this season. Devin Cowan, one of those captains who's unfortunately injured tonight as well, spoke about that and says game experience is by far the best thing you can get. And for these younger players, one of those players being Hayden Miller to step up freshman year goes a long way. And now gives him riches of experience beyond what a typical sophomore has. So Notre Dame back on the attack. Quick shot came from Quinn McCahon. So far, the Irish outscoring Marquette 2-1 in this quarter. Pat Kavanagh behind the cage, playing quarterback. Looking for a teammate, gives it off to Chris Kavanagh. Now Dobson, top of the key. Quick passing from the Irish. Bryce Walker, turn around, gives it off to Dobson. Dobson lost it on what looked to be a pass attempt to Pat Kavanagh. But the Irish able to recover. 20 seconds to work with here. Dobson fires a bullet. Looked to have hit the top of the crossbar and deflect the other way. So with that, we get a reset for Notre Dame. They'll have 60 seconds to work with now.
And because that shot was on frame and it hit the pipe, that shot clock now goes up and gives Notre Dame more time.
Kavanagh with the dish inside. Some really good defense Jaden Castillo. Able to alter that shot from Ricciardelli. Another shot comes from Quinn McCahon. Irish still have it, though. Kavanagh showing patience. Gives it off to Bryce Walker. Walker over to Chris Kavanagh. Inside that finds a cutting Jeffery. Ricciardelli. And Ricciardelli puts it on in for the Irish.
When you look at Notre Dame's attack, when you have Pat Kavanagh and Chris Kavanagh and their vision and how they can feed between Ricciardelli finishing around the crease, you could see that combination working well together. And for Ricciardelli, it doesn't matter if there's defenders on him. Now has a hat trick today.
Quite the opening start for Ricciardelli. Mentioned by head coach Corrigan, as you see them exchanging words now, as one of those young guys that's expected to really step up this season now in his sophomore year with the Irish. Was a big part of the man-up offense that ranked number 1 in the country a season ago. It looks to be another illegal procedure penalty from Cole Emanuel. So Notre Dame will be man up for the next 30. Irish working it around, looking for a good shot, and it's disrupted by this Marquette defense, and they're able to cause the turnover and take it. That's how you play the man-up defense. Zach Granger, one of those Golden Eagles who had an impact on that one. But this time it's the Irish with a forced turnover. Ross Bergmaster got a stick in there. Dobson, good feed. And it's off the post. And last shot off the pipe from Quinn McCahon. So the score remains 12-3. Marquette hasn't gotten a shot off in a while. Actually, haven't gotten a shot off since their last goal. Get a timeout from Marquette, and we'll take a quick break. So far, halfway through the second quarter, Notre Dame has a 12-3 lead over Marquette here from the Loftus Sports Center. It's the opening night for Notre Dame, and it's sophomore Jeffery Ricciardelli. He's got the early hat trick.
And when he's on the crease, you see a couple times, one, he frames his stick so he can show his teammates where to throw the ball, but he also moves to where the pass is coming from, as you see there. And he's an effective crease guy, and that's why he's got the hat trick.
Score is 12-3, Notre Dame. It'll be Marquette taking over possession as we enter play. There's Jake Bear, gives it off. Shot is ripped, and it finds a home. Jackson Rose with his 4th goal on the season.
Rose does not waste any time. As soon as he gets the pass, plants his feet, looks at his target, and finish it, goes high to high with enough steam on it to go top shelf.
Jackson Rose, haven't gotten the chance to call his name a bunch yet, but he is a special talent. Coming over after spending the last 4 seasons at St. Bonaventure. Was All-MAC second team last year, set the single season record for 40 goals. For 40 goals. He's one of the best sharpshooters in the nation. And that was a big reason head coach Stimmel wanted him to join Marquette. Rose ranking second nationally in shooting percentage a year ago, shooting it at just about a 55% clip. Can't get much better than that.
And he doesn't just do it from the outside. Last week, or just a few days ago against Utah, able to dive, show his versatility, and shows how he can finish.
There's a missile from Bryce Walker, but it sails high. Yeah, Jackson Rose so far this season came into this matchup 3 of 5 on his shots. Make that 4 of 6. That's a 60% clip rate. Or 66%, excuse me. Pardon my math. So Notre Dame empty on that possession. Chris Kavanagh looks to be arguing with the official. And even Kevin Corrigan getting involved from the sideline. Actually, your head coach Corrigan talking with the official a little bit. Wanted a penalty on that last offensive possession for Notre Dame. And he's a man who knows the game of lacrosse, that's for sure. The longest tenured coach in D1 right now. Been with this Irish team for quite some time and has one of his best teams he's had in a while. Notre Dame came into the season ranked number 5 in the preseason poll, and due to a few teams losing, like Georgetown and Maryland, they find themselves up to number 3 without playing a game. And so far tonight, really proving that number 3 ranking to be pretty worthwhile as they find themselves up 12-4 on a solid Marquette team. And we'll get a timeout break.
And when you look at Notre Dame's coaching staff, you mentioned, Coach Corrigan, his experience and what the game really means to him and how he's been around it. He's also surrounded himself with Coach Ryan Wellner, who was a defensive coordinator at Navy. Coach Chris Wojcik from Harvard, where he was before this. And then even Ryder Garnsey, we remember his time here at Notre Dame at Attack. So when you surround yourself with individuals like that who know the game, it only just shows how successful they can be. Combine that with the talent on the field.
Absolutely. Talent all over the field. And Kevin Corrigan knew coming into this season, we have the guys. That's one thing he said to us when we spoke to him before this game. But it's more about the depth. And you're seeing a lot of players getting some play time tonight. But a lot of stars really making a difference tonight. And it's Pat Kavanagh, one of those stars we expected. Has yet to score a goal, but he's had 5 assists tonight.
Yeah, and when you look at Kavanagh's game, while he can score, while he can get ground balls, I also think that vision that he has, I'm not sure if there's another attackman in the country that can not only see where his teammates may be, keeping his head up, and then finding them and delivering that pass.
Pat Kavanagh getting it done all over the field tonight. Coming off a season where he broke his own ND single-season record for assists in a season. At 38 back in 2021, and then last year in 2022, added 39 and ranked second in the nation in assists per game, averaging 3.25 a contest.
Something tells me he's going to want to get 40 this year at least on the assists. Going from 38 to 39. Keep it going.
Yeah, off to a good start tonight with those 5 assists. And looking to add more. Has his team up by 8. with just under 5 minutes to play in the second quarter. Again, this is opening night for the Irish. Meanwhile, Marquette, they've kicked off their season. They're 1-1. Had a season-opening victory against Lindenwood before falling 18-16 the other day against Utah. Kavanagh to Kavanagh. Pat Kavanagh has it behind the cage. Pass intended for Westlin. It was lost. Battle at the midfield, and we get a whistle. Marquette will take over. Marquette in transition. One-timer falls. Mason Woodward with a deep-range shot.
It's not often that you find not only the defenders who cause a turnover, there's an over and back call here, but then long poles who stay on the offensive end, like Woodward. But we've seen him this year, scored the first game, scored the second game, then here today, going low to high. That's not something that a long pole is really able to do often. But man, he's accurate.
Not many defensemen as talented as Mason Woodward when it comes to all facets of the field. You mentioned with that long stick, still able to score and score effectively as we get a timeout this time from Notre Dame as Marquette has cut it to a 7-goal deficit. Again, we mentioned Marquette already started their season and they've been scoring pretty well. Had 17 goals in the first game and then last game against Utah, even though they came up short 16 goals and they cut it to a 1-goal deficit late in the fourth.
Yeah, the team has shown that they can score and they can put up, 16 and a half goals a game. And so playing a team like Notre Dame, who's known to have a solid defense, this early on shows a test of, all right, where does our offense stand right now? How good are we and how good can we continue to be?
This is a Marquette team. A season ago, we mentioned went 4-11 overall, but excelled in Big East, played 2-4 in the conference. Finished fourth, made the Big East tournament for the first time since 2018. Definitely a step in the right direction for this program. Looking to build off it this season. They were picked in the Big East preseason poll to finish 4th out of 6th. Behind some really good programs when you look at Georgetown and Denver. Then you also add Villanova in the Big East as well.
Again, showing the sport of lacrosse, how it's growing. ACC play we know is good. Teams like Marquette and the Big East are growing too. And actually, as we transition this quarter here, second quarter, the game's been 4-3 Marquette. So that first quarter, Notre Dame came out strong. And right now, game's a little bit more even. You could tell the place and the rhythm that Marquette's in is more of their own and what they're used to.
Golden Eagles starting to find their tempo and get a little bit more comfortable on the field tonight with the Irish. Following the timeout, Marquette will take over. Here's Jake Bear. Now Hayden Miller. Shot comes from Jake Bear. And here's Jake Stegman off the reset. Stegman, good feed. And a flyer. Finds the back of the net. Will Foster makes it a 6-goal game.
The best feeder for the Golden Eagles shows you why. Stegman on the run from X, keeping his head up, and through the Notre Dame defense, the skip pass over to Foster, who's up top. And he had no one really around him. And so with that time and room, he gets his second today.
And how about the feed? You mentioned Jake Stegman. That's his 3rd assist of the night and his 7th assist in his 3rd game of the season. Giving Pat Kavanagh a run in the assist column tonight. And now Marquette just won the faceoff, so they'll get another possession here and a chance to really cut into this deficit before halftime and make it a game.
This matchup last year, halftime score was 12-5 Notre Dame. So we're looking at something similar, but closing the gap, maybe getting a goal or two from Marquette gains that momentum.
Will Foster muscling his way through a few defenders, finally will give it off. And now the shot is ripped, and it's in the back of the net. Jake Stegman had an impact with all the assists, but now making his mark in the goal-scoring column as well.
The possession before, he was the one dishing it to find his teammate. Now this time, when he gets the pass, he's ready to shoot. He steps down, and no one closes out on him. And now he puts one in the net for him.
And all of a sudden, Jake Stegman and Marquette able to drain some of this energy out of Loftus Sports Center, as the Eagles have the 5-3 advantage within this second quarter of play. And now they have a chance to win the faceoff, but it's finally recovered by the Irish. That's Ronan Doherty picking it up.
Lacrosse is a game of runs. Notre Dame started early. This quarter's been Marquette. And with 2:30 left in the second quarter, Notre Dame looks like they're giving the defense a little bit of a break and working the ball around.
Brian Tevlin has it poked up, and finally Woodward comes up with it. Hustle for possession, and it'll go to Marquette. Some really sound defense right there from Marquette and Woodward.
And right as I was complimenting the Fighting Irish, slowing it down, turnover caused, and this gap can continue to close for Marquette.
Marquette on a 4-0 run right now. Notre Dame hasn't scored since the 9-minute mark. It's been all Eagles, Golden Eagles since. Inside, good feed. And it was a good look from Jackson Rose. But some solid defense. Marco Napolitano, the defenseman, tracking Rose on that last shot. Rose, this time will lose it, and Notre Dame will scoop it up. There's Chris Conlon. Here come the Irish. Just about 60 seconds left before the halftime break. Looking to see if they can put an end to this Marquette 4-0 run. Ball is in the hands of Reilly Gray. And now it's in the hands of Kavanagh behind the dish. Here's Simmons. Had an early goal, but has been quiet since. Pat Kavanagh. Over to Ricciardelli. Now Chris Kavanagh has it. Touch for Seymour. He'll let it fly, and it's wide, and it goes out of play. But Notre Dame will still have it. 23 seconds left. Just a bit of a difference between the shot clock and the game clock. But regardless, it looks like Notre Dame will pretty much have the last shot of the half. But they come early, and it's scored. Big time shot from Reilly Gray puts an end to a Marquette run.
And this time, Gray just dodges across the field in the center of that Marquette defense. He doesn't need much space. His hands were free enough to get the shot off right before halftime.
A big-time goal from Reilly Gray that'll probably count even more than just, a goal with all the momentum that might come with it after the Marquette was able to go on a big run. Just about 10 seconds left here. Marquette will win the face-off. They'll have to hurry as Colin Hagstrom was applying the pressure on Luke Williams. And that'll do it for the first half. Your score through 2 quarters of play, Notre Dame 13, Marquette 7. Brian, it's been an exciting first half.
It has, and it's been a game where teammates have been coming together, dishing the ball out. One team goes on a run, another team answers. 13-7 at half.
Stick with us. Halftime report coming up after this.
He pick up in that second half. What also changed the game is face-offs. Marquette in the beginning, Will Lynch for Notre Dame did a great job dominating there. Marquette has found some rhythm to get them a little bit more even from that 9-13.
Yeah, only a 4-point difference when you look at face-offs. It was initially Notre Dame who was gaining every possession from the X, but Marquette really finding a nose for the ball. They've switched between Luke Williams and Cole Emanuel at the face-off position. And to begin the second half, it's Will Lynch going up against Luke Williams. And it looks like Marquette will end up getting it. So big win right there for Luke Williams and the Golden Eagles coming out of the halftime break. So great to be with you tonight on ACC Network Extra for the season opener for the third-ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I'm Patrick Hartnett alongside Brian Benedict from the Loftus Sports Center in South Bend, Indiana, here on Notre Dame's campus. As that one's ripped away, and Will Donovan, the freshman long stick midfielder, will have it. A little shovel pass over to Quinn McCahon. And now the Irish can run a little bit in transition. Behind the cage, that is Chris Kavanagh. As he loses it. And all the way from the goal, Michael Allieri came out to meet Kavanagh. But he'll shuffle on back in between the pipes as Notre Dame regains possession.
Allieri is an aggressive goalie. First half, some shots that went behind net. He was diving, trying to back them up, and already outside the net. Just wants to get the ball, wants that possession.
Allieri faces a shot right there from Eric Dobson off the bounce. And you look at Allieri, this is someone who's in his junior season now. He was the starter in net for all 15 games a season ago, and so far has been the guy, has split a little bit of time with a freshman on the roster, Lucas Laws. But tonight it's been all Allieri. And he faces a tough shot there and stands up to the challenge. That's a good start to this second half for the Golden Eagles. And now they look to run in transition with Chris Kirshner.
A fair amount of Notre Dame's goals in the first half were from the crease in the center of the defense. And that stop by Allieri, he really stepped up. Ball was going on that other side, and his hand was quick enough. Now the ball's going the other way on the offensive end.
And it's in the hands of Hayden Miller. Miller with 1 goal in that first half. Here's Bobby O'Grady, leading goal scorer on this Marquette team, has it knocked away. And he's being challenged by Chris Fake, the All-American defenseman who joined the Irish this season following 4 seasons over at Yale. And Fake's efforts lead to Notre Dame taking over. This is a revamped Notre Dame defense when you look at the transfers they brought in. The main two transfers on defense being Chris Fake and Chris Conlon. Both of them really experienced, have the accolades to back it up, and have been playing a good game so far. Scoreless through the first 3 minutes of the second half. Again, Notre Dame outshot Marquette 30-16 overall. Only 16-12 in shots on goal. But it was good enough for a 6-goal advantage at the halftime break as they look to build on that now.
And as a team, if you get around 40 shots a game, that's impressive. With Notre Dame having 30, And then adding another one right here, but a big stop by Alieri. But if Alieri sees these shots more and more, just like that one, it's going to be tougher for Marquette to come back.
Yeah, that was a really good look from Simmons, but Alieri somehow able to stop it from up close. This one is ripped off the bounce. It came from Jalen Seymour, and Alieri able to stop it once more. Seymour. That one didn't give Alieri too much of a threat. And quite the possession right now we're seeing from the goalkeeper. Alieri in a hustle for the ball, and Marquette has it. You hear the cheers from their bench. They're getting this Marquette team energized to begin the second half. Notre Dame defense was solid in that first half, only gave up 2 goals in the first quarter, but then gave up 5 in the second. It was the Notre Dame defense that was first in the ACC a season ago, ranked top 10 nationally when it came to goals allowed per game. We mentioned the transfers they brought in to replace the likes of Arden Cohen and Jason Reynolds, who both graduated from this Irish defense. And there's a stop in net from Entenmann right on cue.
Both goalies keeping this a scoreless second half so far. And both making tough saves where the shots are coming from and where they're placed.
One more time. How about another stop? Michael Alieri really having himself a third quarter. Here's Marquette looking to use that good defense, channel it offensively now. Ball is in the hands of Matthew Weingartner. He's the junior from Tallahassee, Florida. Now Stegman on the close side of the field, being matched right now by Carter Perlette. Stegman tries to get around Perlette. Perlette's not letting him have it, and his shot comes from O'Grady, who found an inch of grass in front of him as he slipped by Marco Napolitano. Weingartner, good move, puts it, and it was off target regardless, but Entenmann comes out to get it.
A dangerous shot from O'Grady on the crease. He's used to finishing those. Goes wide, and then Entenmann makes a save. Nice stance for Notre Dame defense.
A little bit of a swim move right there from Brian Tevlin, who was able to work it into the offensive zone, but Notre Dame gives it away. It's been a tough quarter offensively for the Irish. And now Marquette has had some success tonight in transition, but they'll back it out. Here comes Hayden Miller. Gives it off to Jackson Rose. Now Stegman, and he'll give it off to Will Foster. Foster putting the moves right now on Ben Ramsey, but he's unable to shake him in the end. Marquette showing patience right now on these last few possessions. Looking to work a good shot. They have one here, but it was wide. Looks like Entenmann would have had it. Would it have been on frame? But Marquette will take over. They still have 28 seconds to work with here.
And you're spot on about what Marquette is doing on offense. They're slowing it down. They're looking for the right shots, not forcing anything. Now it's just time for them to put one in the net.
There's a shot, or a pass, excuse me. It's tipped around in front of the net, and finally, Marquette will scoop it up. 5 seconds to work with. Eagles got to hurry. And it's given away as you hear the buzzer. And that's a classic textbook defensive stand from the Irish right there. Have a flag flying off the reset. Notre Dame will play through it. Here's a shot, and he scored! Quinn McCahon finally breaks this scoreless drought in the third quarter. And with that, we'll take a quick break. Right now, it's 14-7, Irish, midway through the third quarter. Well, for all the playmakers Notre Dame has offensively, how about the job we've seen between the pipes tonight from Marquette? Michael Alieri now up to 7 saves.
And the shot we see there, and even some of the others in that third quarter, he's following the ball. He's tracking it with his eyes, and whether it's his stick or his body, he's getting something in front of it to make the save.
Alieri really gaining a lot of confidence in this third quarter. He just gave up the first score of the second half, so looking to rebound quickly following that. Alieri, junior goalie out of Westlin, Massachusetts. Again, we mentioned, led the Big East a year ago with 12.6 saves per game, and so far off to a pretty good start this season.
And while this third quarter has really been a defensive battle with only one goal for Notre Dame being scored, but I believe Notre Dame is man up, or maybe that goal waved it off. But either way, we want to make sure to maintain those possessions and win some face-offs to keep it close.
And they'll do just that. Will Lynch takes the face-off victory over Luke Williams right there.
And so for Marquette, it is even 6-on-6. There won't be a man-up opportunity. Getting a chance to hopefully make a stop, make a save, have the ball go the other way.
Ricciardelli gives it off to Dobson. Dobson over to Chris Kavanagh. Now McCann, he just scored the last goal. Number 15 in white. He'll track towards the middle, look for a pass. Instead, Notre Dame will back it out. Here's a shot in the middle from Ricciardelli, and it was just a little bit wide of that left pipe.
Notre Dame's offense keeps seeing that center in the middle open and having guys on the crease who are ready to catch and shoot. That one just goes wide.
Here comes a shot from way downtown. Off the rebound, Ricciardelli puts it in. There is a flag down, but it looks like that one will count for Jeffery Ricciardelli. It was a shot from outside, but off the miss. Ricciardelli able to score.
And this is why you don't give up on plays. The rebounds are there, so even if a save happens, the ball is loose. Alieri doesn't have it just yet. So Ricciardelli gets the ground ball and scores.
How about the hustle play from Jeffery Ricciardelli? He got decked at the end. I think that's what the foul actually came. Quite the night we've had from the sophomore. That's his fourth goal. Really making his mark. He got the start tonight in that third attacking position beside the Kavanagh brothers, and you can see why. Scored in a multitude of ways, and that one just as impressive as we've seen all night from him. So Notre Dame player up, following the illegal body check from Mason Woodward. Rare mistake from the All-American. Two straight goals from Notre Dame. We're going to make it 3 here on the player up. There's a stop. Alieri stands tall. And now Marquette's trying to kill a little bit of clock until they get full strength here. Marquette works it into the offensive zone. Here's Bobby O'Grady, number 13 in gold. He had 2 goals in the first quarter, but since then he's been all covered by this Irish defense, being guarded heavily by guys like Chris Fake and Chris Conlon. Fake has the assignment right now on O'Grady. Marquette back at full strength. Shot goes, and the rebound went way up in the air, but Entenmann able to snare it. Entenmann playing the role of quarterback all the way out of the 40-yard line of this turf field here inside Loftus Sports Center.
And right now, Marquette looks like they need to settle down a little bit more. There was a penalty that was waved off by a goal earlier. They just were man down, even though they made a stop. And now there's a third flag this quarter coming. If you're down, you want to make sure as best as possible, play clean defense and get those turnovers.
Another huge stop from Alieri following the shot from Jack Simmons. Regardless, it looks like Notre Dame's going to be in prime opportunity here following the flag against Marquette. It's a 1-minute penalty against Logan Kreis with a slash. So we'll take another look.
Yeah, pushing the back with the possession. You call for the ref when he's right in front of it. That's easy. Now, Notre Dame last time did not score a man up, but we'll see this time.
That's the 5th penalty of the night from Marquette, and it leads to a goal. Kavanagh able to extend this Irish lead. They're now up 16-7.
Nothing fancy here other than just working the ball around and quickly. Ricciardelli barely had that in his stick, and he dished it knowing that Kavanagh was open. And he does the rest.
Chris Kavanagh with a stinger. And that's good for his 3rd goal of the night. It's a hat trick for Chris Kavanagh here on opening night. In the second half so far. And they're going to need to score soon to really make this a game come 4th quarter. Marquette looking to see if they can string together a few stops following the Notre Dame goal from Kavanagh. They had a look inside, but couldn't connect on the pass. "15 seconds to shoot. McCahon has it. Fires off a shot. It is wide of the net. And they'll have 9 seconds. Now with Pat Kavanagh behind the cage, has it, has to move. Acrobatic look at the goal. Kind of a tough angle to put it in.
Tough angle with the shot clock winding down. Makes sense looking to take that shot. Just a better save for Alieri.
Solid hit in the midfield from Dobson. Jars it loose. And it was corralled by Carter Perlette. Notre Dame with a chance to make this a double-digit lead. There's some solid defense from Zach Granger. Got in the way of that pass, but couldn't end up getting to the ball in time. Shot clock, game clock, pretty much even right now. Notre Dame has the opportunity to hold and close out this third quarter. McCahon inside. Looked to sling it out. It was intercepted by Logan Crines. That was a flag along the sideline as Crines ended up on the carpet. That one most likely will be against Notre Dame and Eric Dobson, as Dobson already taken a knee, kind of accepting his fate.
Yeah, you love the effort from Dobson, but might have been on his back and maintaining.
Love the foul, but you got to appreciate, Dobson being all over it, being like, hey, I messed up. I know, I'll go sit my penalty now, and that's kind of leadership you expect from one of your leaders in Eric Dobson. Through 3 quarters of play. As we welcome you back inside Loftus Sports Center, Pat Kavanagh. We know how great he is on the field, but even more impressive is the work he does off the field. Just recently signed a partnership with City Lax, a nonprofit organization dedicated to growing the game of lacrosse in New York City. And Pat Kavanagh starting his own initiative. He's donating $10 to middle school lacrosse programs in New York City for each ground ball he's picked up throughout the season. He's already got 2 tonight.
And his play just shows the drive that he has, seeing the ground balls, wanting to get them. However, using this NIL initiative as an opportunity for a good cause, to also gain exposure as well, it's something that's special to the character of Pat Kavanagh, too.
Absolutely. Kavanagh, a Long Island native, will serve as a City Lax ambassador for the season. And hopefully we'll get the chance to interact with many youth lacrosse players in New York City. And just like that, fireworks to start this fourth quarter. Bobby O'Grady's back in the scores column.
Well, that was quick from Marquette not scoring in that third quarter. To just on this man-up chance, a quick stick from O'Grady, getting his name back in the mix and finishing it.
That's a quiet hat trick from Bobby O'Grady. 13th goal of the season for him. Again, got off to a solid start, had Marquette's first 2 goals of the night, but since then really has been stifled by this Notre Dame defense. And we'll see if he has a late push in him. We know how capable he is of rattling off goal after goal after goal, and that's what Marquette will need early in this fourth quarter to really challenge Notre Dame down the stretch here. Marquette looking to make some solid defensive stops to get this fourth quarter going. Here's Kavanagh. Kavanagh turns between the legs. Oh, went for the highlight reel finish. That one just a little bit off. Would have been pretty. Can assure you of that. Notre Dame still has it. Under 25 to shoot. Dobson with possession. Now McCahon. Looked to have his shot altered right there by Zach Granger. Granger, one of the leaders of this defense, really has been all over the field tonight for Marquette. Under 5 to go. Chris Kavanagh will force it out. Dobson, Notre Dame's going to hurry. I'm not sure if they knew how much time was left in the shot clock, and that's a solid defensive stop for Marquette.
And maybe part of it was just not knowing, or the defender almost had possession for a moment. So maybe they also thought that that shot clock could have been reset. But either way, it wasn't. Marquette gets the ball.
Inside Rose. Entenmann went up the ladder to meet him. Entenmann just so athletic in net for the Irish. There's Chris Fake from the defensive side. Will now give it off to Seymour. Jalen Seymour, one of those players who only played one game a season ago during his freshman year, but expected to really step up and be a key contributor in the midfield. He wears number 26 in white. There he is now. Kavanagh dishes, and it's scored. Who else? Jeffery Ricciardelli, Notre Dame's leading goal scorer on the night, continues his success. He's up to 5 now.
And we've seen this combination a fair amount tonight. The defender knows he has to pick up and slide to Kavanagh, and that just leaves Ricciardelli on the crease open and puts it far side.
Ricciardelli, just a tremendous off-ball movement tonight, and setting him up as Pat Kavanagh. Good for his 6th assist of tonight's game. Flag comes out as Marquette looks to control it. Right now they're being pressured by Notre Dame and having trouble working it out of their defensive end. They got to hurry. Logan Crines now working it through the midfield. Here's Nate Surd. Gets past the defender, fires off the shot, and he scores. Marquette answers and looks to cut into this Notre Dame deficit. Score now 17-9.
And even though there was a man-up opportunity coming, Surd goes down the alley and notices that Entenmann's stick drops just for a moment and puts it right over his head.
Second goal of the season for Nate Surd, senior midfielder out of Littleton, Colorado. Joining Marquette this year after playing 2 seasons at Harvard Community College down in Bel Air, Maryland. So back at the X, Colin Hagstrom taking this face-off for Notre Dame. He goes up against the other number 4, that is Luke Williams of Marquette. And Williams is the one who's victorious. It's been a good mix of face-off men for Marquette tonight. They've had Luke Williams, they've had Cole Manuel really bouncing back and forth. But we've seen as of late, Williams doing a pretty good job.
And a big win for them, too, knowing that if they get possession, they have an extra man.
Shot comes from the outside. That was Nate Surd once again. Wide open was O'Grady, but it just kind of slipped away from him.
You know, Grady really likes that low to high shot. Barely holds on to the ball, but still can release it quickly and goes just over the net.
O'Grady has it, gives it off to Surd. Back to O'Grady. 20 to work with for Marquette. Here comes Luke Blank. Surd was in search of Rose, and now Notre Dame will take over, and they got numbers. Here comes Brian Tevlin. Inside, Chris Kavanagh converts. 4th goal of the night for Kavanagh.
Starts on the defensive end. Looks like they got a stick in the passing lane, knocked the ball down. And then it's just numbers during this transition. The skip pass to Kavanagh. And scores another one tonight.
And that's not a player you want to give wide open space to that close to the net. More times than not, he's going to find the back of the net. And he does that there for the 4th time in tonight's game. So it's an 18-9 lead for the Irish. We're sitting at about 9.5 minutes left to go in this 4th quarter. As we get a whistle, it'll be a timeout. And with that, we'll take a quick break. Stick with us for the rest of this 4th quarter. Notre Dame's got a 9-goal lead over Marquette. Well, it is the opening night for Notre Dame, and they've had a lot of success over the years in these season openers. 35-7 all time in their opening games, including a 29-5 record during the Kevin Corrigan era.
And give credit to Coach Corrigan and the staff of preparing these guys for game 1, getting them out on the field. They usually play in Loftus, given the games up here north, indoors, but they have a tough couple of games coming up soon with Georgetown and Maryland approaching.
Notre Dame also riding a 21-game win streak inside Loftus. Looking to continue that tonight, but Marquette has other ideas, and it's Bobby O'Grady with the finish near the crease.
It wouldn't surprise me if Coach Stimmel and the staff drew up a play similar to this right from that time out in the huddle. You have someone dodging there down the alley. You got O'Grady on the crease, and he scores again.
And that gets Marquette up to 10. Still in this game. Again, we know the way Bobby O'Grady and company can rattle off goals, but they'll need some stops, and they'll need a lot of wins off the face-off. And that's a good start as they win that last face-off, and now they can go with Jake Bear having the ball in hand. So that last goal from O'Grady is 4th of the night. And here's Marquette back on the attack. Weingartner has it. You see the face-off numbers completely even tonight. Again, both teams have gone on runs when it comes to winning the face-off. But overall, it's been a pretty even matchup in terms of possessions off the jump. Shot comes from O'Grady once again. That one not on frame. But Marquette will still have 42 seconds to work with.
And that 8-goal deficit is a fair amount, so you want that pressure and that urgency to be there. And so even though O'Grady didn't finish it, you know that this team's going to continue to attack the net.
Weingartner drives, shoots. Had a good look off the bounce, but it went by Liam Entenmann. There's Jake Bear, number 99. He's a freshman on this team, hailing from Maryland, making his 2nd start of the season in this midfield group. As that's not what you need if you're Marquette. An errant pass leads to a sloppy turnover. And now Notre Dame has a chance to run a little bit. Pat Kavanagh went up the ladder to corral that pass, and he'll set up the offense. Here comes Riley Gray. Looks to curl around the cage. Stopped by a defender. That's nowhere for Lindy. And what a strike, Chris Kavanagh. 5th goal of the night for Chris Kavanagh. And it's got Notre Dame up to a 19-10 lead.
And for the Fighting Irish, really, you just need to settle in and work the ball around. But Chris Kavanagh finds himself up top. And with the screen as he's coming down towards the goal, he's able to score for his 5th tonight.
And that 19th goal for Notre Dame will mark a new series high against Marquette. They previously set it last season when they won 18-8. But having a tremendous scoring day this time around against the Eagles, Golden Eagles that is, who Notre Dame has had great success with ever since these two Midwestern foes began battling it out. Notre Dame leading the all-time series 10-0 and in good position to continue that tonight.
If you look at the scoring for Notre Dame tonight, 19 goals, 10 of them coming from attack, and then 5 of those from attack is Chris Kavanagh. He can dodge on his own, whether it's from behind the net or a goal we just saw right before this timeout in this break. He went down the alley and then here on the doorstep.
And Kavanagh getting it done all over the field, that last one. A missile towards the left side of the cage. And you see the numbers. Very efficient as well, 5 for 8. Also adds in 2 assists. And we mentioned earlier about this offseason for Chris Kavanagh. It was a big one. That transition from freshman to sophomore year, really looking to elevate his game at the collegiate level. And he had a great opportunity in the fall with his brother Pat injured a little bit. Jake Taylor, another one of these attackers for Notre Dame, was injured in the fall and injured in the spring as well. So Chris really became kind of the quarterback for this Notre Dame offense during their fall training and scrimmages. And while it wasn't an ideal situation to have his teammates out, Kevin Corrigan spoke about Chris really stepping up and getting that experience of being the number 1 attacker, and it's going to translate well to this season for him.
It already has to start as a sophomore and then another sophomore on that attacking unit being Ricciardelli. So even with Notre Dame having some younger guys, you could see what they can produce.
High expectations for Chris Kavanagh entering this Notre Dame program. Rated the number 1 attackman in the class of 2021. Played at Taft High School. Also, not to mention, you got a brother here in Pat who has had such a great success, and then also an older brother in Matt Kavanagh, who was an All-American here at Notre Dame. Struggling to get it through the midfield right now. We do have a whistle. Looks like they ran out of time. Notre Dame looking to add to this lead, getting to the 20-goal mark.
As this game's winding down, it really is a similar feel to last year. Notre Dame won 18-8 over Marquette. You're looking at 19-10 in control really from the beginning. And for it being their first game for Notre Dame, again, we talked about last year how it ended. Not surprised they came out firing.
Yeah, senior goalie Liam Entenmann had a lot to say about the mentality they had coming into this season. He said, we have to treat every game like it's the national championship, starting with game 1 against Marquette. It was a season last year where Notre Dame caught fire late, but unable to impress the NCAA tournament committee enough with those early season losses, trying to avenge them late in the season. So this year, Entenmann knows we got to come out firing against no matter who we're playing, especially those out-of-conference games early in the season. Chris Kavanagh, good battle, trying to force the ball loose. But Zach Ranger able to escape him. And now the Irish will take over.
Back-to-back possessions where the Golden Eagles make the stop, but during that transition game, just turn it over.
So Notre Dame handling business pretty well on opening night. They'll take a quick timeout here, and we'll stay with you. Score is 19-10 in favor of the number 3 ranked team in the country, Fighting Irish, kicking off their season a little bit later than a lot of teams have. Most teams have gotten started by now, but Notre Dame opening tonight against Marquette. And then we'll be taking on Cleveland State this Sunday, and then they'll really get to the gauntlet of a schedule they have down the road.
And as we look to last year, Georgetown for the Irish was a tough game. Maryland was another one that was close. And then playing at Ohio State last year, that was a tough loss as well. Now, having the Buckeyes come into South Bend, I'm sure they look to want to redeem themselves from that. But here's one thing about Notre Dame's team. Not just the last season, which we've talked about, but the depth that they have, the talent that they have, all around. It's a complete team from face-off to how Will Lynch has been doing tonight, to in the net with Entenmann. And then all these other parts of the game, as long as a team like this can stay healthy, they're dangerous this year.
Well, there's no doubt about that. I mean, coming into the season, you knew Notre Dame had the guys that they needed. Kevin Corrigan alluded to that, and the statistics back it up. You bring back nearly 80% of your scoring production. You bring back an all-American caliber goalkeeper in Liam Entenmann, and then you bring in some transfers defensively who are all-Americans or all-conference. As late in this game, we'll get some changes for Notre Dame. Alex Zepp, sophomore goalie out of Mineola in New York, will step in the goalkeeper position. Played at Chaminade High School alongside Entenmann, so maybe got some reps behind him as well back in the high school days. And here at Notre Dame doing the same. There's Emmett Barger, number 9, and White gets a touch offensively. Another one of these seniors getting some action late in this game. Controlled by Westlin. Shot comes and he scores. Fisher Finley gets his first goal of the season.
Well, Patrick, you mentioned if they were going to get to that 20-goal mark. It looks like the answer is yes. Finley adding himself to the name of goal scorers. And just really at this time, no one on his hands, puts it in.
Fisher Finley, sophomore midfielder out of Alpharetta, Georgia. Able to net his first goal of the season. So Notre Dame has doubled up Marquette. Score is now 20-10. Looks like Notre Dame should be able to take this one. As they look to play solid defense these last 3.5 minutes. We mentioned Marquette 1-1 on the season. They're in the midst of a 4-game road trip right now. Played last Saturday all the way out west at Utah, but then came back to the Midwest, playing Notre Dame tonight. And then they have a break before they take on Michigan, which actually won't be in the Midwest. It'll be down in Florida as part of the Southwest Florida Shootout. And then on Saturday, March 4th, they'll be taking on Detroit Morrissey before they return back home on the 11th of March to take on Bellarmine. Solid stop from Zepp, who just came on to take over in goal for Notre Dame. Westlin has control right now. Looking for someone to pass to. We'll give it off to Finley, who just scored the last goal. Back to Finley. Fake the shot. Instead will pass to Westlin. Now Barger has it. Really using the shot clock here, getting everybody involved. Finley, Barger with a touch behind the cage. Dish inside, shot comes, it scored. Quick trigger. And it's Fulton Bayman able to score his first goal of the season.
And Notre Dame just getting more guys involved from the team. And in game one, this is something you really want to see too. You know, not just the guys who are starting, those who have put in the work in the offseason, because the whole team has. So Bayman stepping up, getting some play, and getting a goal.
Fulton Bayman, senior attackman out of Atlanta, Georgia. Expected to take on an even bigger role this season now in his senior year as part of that second attacking unit.
And even during this second half, the one thing that you see from the Golden Eagles is the effort through the start to the finish. We saw it against Utah, and even in this game, they're fighting on defense. They're forcing Notre Dame to really work the ball around. And that speaks to the culture of what really they're all about.
Well, we mentioned Notre Dame. They were number 5 preseason. They're now up to number 3 without having played a game, without really showing who they are this year, but making a statement tonight. Right now, holding on to an 11-goal lead over Marquette. Definitely earning that number 3 ranking. This is a Notre Dame team that was picked to finish second in the ACC preseason poll. Only 2 points behind number 1 Virginia, whom they had some struggles with last year, but looking to see if they can avenge their losses to them. They'll get to take them on in late April. Stop in net from Alex Zepp, and that should just about do it. So final score tonight from Loftus Sports Center. Number 3 Notre Dame on opening night, able to secure a 21-10 victory over Marquette. Brian, just an all-around great game from Notre Dame. They came out from the jump firing with their scoring, but picked up the defense as well later on.
They did, and they did not let go. Where Notre Dame from the beginning set the tone. They got a lot of with the team involved. And you see on the scoreboard here, putting up 21 for game 1 is something that they want to see.
Absolutely. Notre Dame will be back on action this Sunday against Cleveland State. Your final score from Loftus Sports Center. Once again, Notre Dame 21, Marquette 10. Thanks for joining us. Alongside my colleague Brian Benedict, I'm Patrick Hartnett. It's me saying so long from South Bend. Enjoy the rest of your night.